Hey baddies, I feel like Lil Wayne every time I tell y'all sorry for the wait, but look no further because episode 11 of From Corporate to Be Bad is here, so stay tuned. For those of you who are just now tuning in, who are new to my channel, who is new to Be Bad, who is new to From Corporate to Be Bad, real quick background to bring you up to speed to what I'm about to talk about right now. On today's episode, I quit my cushy, comfy corporate job in September, and I've kind of been doing my own thing this entire time. So From Corporate to Be Bad is my journey of breaking my chains that were in corporate America and emancipation and being, you know what I'm saying, being solo and doing my own thing, being fearless and creating my own brand and just this entire entrepreneurial journey that I'm on right now. So saying all of that to say, the devil been on my motherfucking back. Like these past couple weeks have been incredibly wild and crazy for me. But the word I wanted to bring to y'all today about that is just when you are walking in your purpose, it gives you an amount of comfort that roots you in your decision. Meaning that these past couple weeks I've been tested over and over and over again. Sometimes day after day, sometimes 2-3 times in a day. It's just been really, really crazy. But I'm saying all that to say, those were moments for me to say, damn, I should have kept my job. Damn, I wish I had a paycheck coming in every 2 weeks. Damn, I should have stayed and should have been doing that. You know what I'm saying? That was the perfect time for me to be like, wow, I really made the wrong decision. But because I'm so firm and so rooted in the decision that I made, I'm trying to train my mind instead of thinking like, I fucked up, I should have did that. I'm trying to train my mind to think more so along the lines of, I don't want to say glass half full, but being more positive about it. Yes, this is what's happening. I can't necessarily change what is happening, but I can change my response to what it is that's happening, right? So if this shitty shit is happening to me and I'm greeting it with negativity and I'm feeling sad and I'm feeling downtrodden, I'm feeling sick about this shit, nothing is gonna come from that except for me feeling more sick or the devil winning. And you ain't finna win. So you're not finna defeat me, honey. I'll never be defeated. So I've just been in this space where it's like, yes, you made the absolute right decision. This is a period of time right now where you're being tested. And I feel like my test in this particular season of my life is patience. I've talked about this so much, but I'm really being tested to be patient. I feel like my time, whatever the fuck that means, is coming. And I feel like I'm in a space right now where I am laying such a bulletproof and strategic foundation to what it is that I'm doing that I'm gonna be okay. I just need to continue to practice that patience. That doesn't mean be patient and wait for it to come. Best believe the girls are grinding this entire way through, but it just means to have some patience within that space and to also make sure that you're walking in your purpose. If I wasn't aligned with my purpose, yes, I would have been easily tempted to say, yeah, I did fuck up. Maybe I need to go back and do that thing again. But because I know that that's not at all where I need to be, that's not where my mental's at, that's not where anything is at, and I know that I am walking in my purpose, then I'm not necessarily feeling like that. So make sure that you're aligning whatever it is that you're doing with your purpose to give you that comfort to be so rooted in your decision that no matter what comes your way, you know that you did the right thing. So for those of you who aren't familiar, every month on my blog I kind of have like this content theme or like this topic that I decide to unpack a little bit further throughout the entire course of the month. So this month's topic is the R's, or this month's theme is the R's, and the first R is resolutions. Now, I really wanted to put that first to give people all of December to go ahead and get those resolutions together. So my first piece that I did within that is helping people to set better goals. I feel like a lot of the times we create these vision boards and it's not, I kind of went on a baby rant on IG the other day and I'm not trying to be shady, I promise. But one thing that I really hate about the vision boards is that it's not actionable. I'm cutting out this shit out of this magazine, putting this shit on this piece of paper, and I'm never looking at this piece of paper ever again. And if I do decide to look at this piece of paper ever again, the only thing that it's going to remind me of is that I haven't accomplished anything on this list. So my stance has been to create actionable goals. So within resolutions this week, the blog post that I put out on Monday, I'll probably put that in the description below. But in resolutions, I talked about setting those actionable goals and then also ways for you to be able to kind of hold yourself accountable to those goals, whether that be an accountability buddy, whether that be for you to have a designated day where you check that list and say, hey, this is what I need to be doing, this is not, you know, this is where my intentions need to be focused this week, making sure you have that. So kind of the way that I've been looking at goal setting is that the first thing you need to do is just kind of brainstorm, what are your goals for the upcoming year? What are you actually looking to accomplish? And then once you get all of those written out, go ahead and try to categorize them so that they make sense. I like things that make sense. It works easier for my brain for me to be able to see things in categories than for me to just see a bunch of scattered shit, and I can place a bet that y'all are feeling the same exact way. So from there, I go ahead and categorize my goals. Now within each of these different categories, I have a macro goal. The macro goal is like a bigger overarching goal. I think I used the example of if my goal is to increase the visibility of my blog, that could be a macro goal. And then within that macro goal, you also need to have micro goals that are almost acting as steps for you to get there. Now, one of those macro goals to be to write 20 pieces of content per month. Now, of course, the more you do shit, the more you're consistent, the more you're able to increase that visibility and increase the amount of people that it's actually going to, because people are like, this is a trusted source. Let me come holler at her. Let me come see what she's talking about. So that would be an example of a micro goal. But then also there are steps that I need to take in order to get there. So within each of the micro goals, I go ahead and I set some steps which could act as actionable items for me to go ahead and accomplish. So one of those, going with the same trend of the example that I'm talking about, one of those could be to plan out what that content looks like. If I'm doing 20 pieces of content a month, what is the content talking about? What are the themes of the content? One of those action items could be creating the actual content. So just kind of thinking about it from that particular level, because the grand idea of increasing visibility to my blog doesn't give me anything to actually go with that's tangible, that's actionable, that says this is how I'm gonna go ahead and put this plan in place. So with all of that said, and a very shameless plug, very unshameless plug, I have some different digital downloads that I have created. But by me going ahead and laying this strategic foundation, I created a lot of different documents, if you will, for me to be able to keep my shit in track, and for me to be able to look at things from a more realistic, a more strategic, and a more organized. That's the word I'm really looking for, a more organized lens. So in lieu of that, I was like, but what about my baddies? So I decided to go ahead and develop templates for each of those items. And all of them, or there's 3 different items. The first is a goal setting guide, which goes along the lines of what I was just talking about. It gives you a space to, it first tells you like how you should think about the goals. And it gives you kind of like an instruction little sheet. And then it goes into talking about give you a space to brainstorm those goals. Then it's giving you a space to categorize those goals. Then it gives you a space to write out each of those different macro goals underneath those categories, and then your micro goals, as well as your actionable steps that you're taking. It also gives you a place to say, where did I leave off? So you actually know, because a lot of the times when we're detached from documents, we come back, we're like, okay, what's next? Like, what should I actually be doing? So it gives you a space to say, this is where I left off. And it also has a space for these are what the next steps are, but it also gives you a space to check off shit that you've done. So if this is my actionable step, let me go ahead and check this off and say, this is what I did. So that's the entire goal setting guide. And it's actually only $7, y'all. So y'all really can't beat that. Really, really cheap and really easy for you to go ahead and start laying that strategic foundation for your 2018. The next is a 2018 revenue tracker. I've been trying to become a little bit more strategic about what my coin is looking like. I feel like the first couple months of me doing this entrepreneurial journey, I was more so focused on like, let me get this content out, let me establish this blog a little bit more, let me do everything that I've been wanting to do with this blog this entire time, but haven't been able to because I didn't have the time to do it. But now within the last month or so, I wouldn't even lie on myself, within the past couple weeks or so, maybe past month, sorry y'all, but within the past month or so, I've really been thinking about like, what are my multiple streams of revenue? What are their potentials? Like what does my estimates look like? and trying to understand how much money the girls can actually make, what's looking realistic, what areas I need to do more pushes in, etc. So I developed this 2018 revenue tracker. It's in an Excel document kind of format, and it's broken down by quarter. So per quarter you have your multiple streams of revenue. You can track your estimates, so you can create like what your estimates actually are, but then you can track what your actuals are as well. So your estimate is, I'm estimating that this is the amount of money that I'm going to be making in January, and then after January is over, or throughout the duration of January, you can keep it up to date with the actuals that you're actually making, so that you can track what your revenue actually looks like, but also plan ahead for what your estimated revenue looks like as well. And in addition to all of that, and it's also, let me back out, it's also populated with different formulas. So when you put your numbers in there, you don't have to add them up, you don't have to crunch them, you don't have to do anything. All the formulas, everything is already there for you. And then I also have a kind of cadence calendar tracker thing on the side of it too. So for each of those different months, and for each of your different multiple streams of revenue, how exactly, or excuse me, what is the timing on this? Does it start in February? Does it start at the end of Q3? Is it just March? You know what I'm saying? Like trying to look and understand what those look like. So that's that particular document. Put a little bit more time in her. So I'm only selling her for $10 though. So if you are somebody who is a small business owner, or an entrepreneur, and are looking to understand how to track your revenue, that is the perfect document for y'all. And then the last one that I went ahead and did was a content calendar. So a content calendar template, and it's for 2018 too. It's also in an Excel format, and it's also broken down by quarter. So you can go ahead and add in what your content looks like, what types of content, or actually it's broken down by month. So you can put in what your content looks like from a weekly basis. And then you can go ahead and say like, this is the platform that it's going to be on. This is the caption that I want to go with it. This is the intention of me posting this. This is what I'm looking to do with this, etc. So on and so forth. So that one is more so geared towards the, what am I trying to say? The influencer or the entrepreneur, small business owner, etc. Just anybody who needs to be on social. That is for that. But then also beyond social, it also helps you to plan out what your actual like digital content looks like, if you're somebody who does that as well. And that document is only $5, and it's a template. All of these are templates, so they're editable, they're clickable. Whatever you need to do, go ahead, go in there and do that. You can get all of those at bbadpr.com/downloads with an S, singular, or plural, not singular. And that's that. So, I mean, this pretty much wraps up episode 11 of From Corporate to Be Bad. Like I said, I'm going to be making them a lot shorter so that they're more palatable, and I want to pack them, not that I've been packing them with shit that you can't actually use the entire time, but I want to make sure that I'm packing in some nuggets that you can actually take with you moving forward. So, thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of From Corporate